with Lincoln Baxter, the founder of the Forge project, to do the integration of Forge 1 in those days with JBoss tools. But the things that we will, and now since a couple of years, I've been working mainly on Hibernate tooling. And so the things that you will see today, they are actually mainly done by George Castaldi, who is somewhere here. Yeah, he is the leader of the Forge. So actually, he should be here on stage to talk about it, but he lets us have our 50 minutes of fame. Thank you, George.
Yeah. And he's giving a lab tomorrow about Forge.
Yes.
It's tomorrow, so. So, we are still working on the technical issues, but I'm Sebastien Blanc. I'm 50% French, 50% Dutch. You hear the French part with my sexy accent. I work at Red Hat as well. I'm on the Red Hat mobile team. I joined Red Hat 3 years ago. And yeah, on my slides you will see my Twitter handle if you want to follow my tools. And now I have to speak until things. Koen was really good at keep speaking, eh? Stuff, so what you will see today is awesome. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
No, and oh look.
Yeah.
I think it's better than nothing, but.
Yeah. So the colors are a bit messed up, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, but that was my next part. We only have 2 slides, well, 3 slides, because that's a dev conf, so it's for developers. So we don't have boring slides. So we just have 2 slides, and then it will be only live coding. Okay, next slide. Yeah, that's okay. So when you start up a new project, you are facing the whole setup. You have to create a new project, create a whole skeleton. You have to be careful to follow the right practices. You have to do boring stuff like setting up your persistence layer, creating your models, creating the relations, stuff like that. And you will probably make a lot of mistakes and you will lose a lot of time. So you can move to the next slide. We have a solution for that, and the solution for that is Forge. So Forge is a RAD tool, for Rapid Application Development tool. And it relies on a few principles that are famous in the world. Maybe you know Grails or Rails. There are also RAD tools that are RAD integrated. So you have principle of keep it simple. Keep it stupid simple by don't repeating yourself and by using convention rather than configuration. So that are the 3 acronyms that you must not say aloud in this order. So you can use it. You can use this tool standalone. It has a really nice CLI. But we have integration for the 3 main EDAs, meaning Eclipse, NetBeans, and IntelliJ. But you will see that in the demo that will start in less than a minute. It's extendable. What does it mean? It's really easy to create your own add-ons. Imagine you have a project and you sometimes, each time you add a new feature, you have a whole process, whole classes that you have to generate, configuration you have to do. If you see that you have to repeat this task every time, well, it could be a good solution to write your own add-on and add it to your Forge tooling. So that's what I mean by extendable. And I think we can start for the demo, no?
Right.
So let's start. My boss gave me a call 2 minutes ago and he said, hey, listen, Koen and Sebastien, in 40 minutes I need a complete bookstore application, Java EE7. I want REST endpoints, I want to deploy it as a microservice, I want an Angular frontend, I want everything. And you have 40 minutes. Koen, do you think we can do that?
No, because the command Forge is not found anymore. Well, let me see. Let me see what's going on here.
Yeah. You're already in a. You're already in a. You're already in a forge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No.
So Forge was already started. Okay. So
Well, maybe
I'm using the command line here, and I start Forge just by typing.
is the
Forge.
font okay, or should we increase a bit the font? Yeah, can you increase a bit the font?
Like this.
Like this?
Okay. Okay, so now Forge is started, and we can start issuing commands. And of course, you need a little bit of experience. But if you want to start a new project, the thing that you should do is project new. You can actually do this by typing, and then when you don't know really what is possible, you hit tab, and then it gives you all the possibilities, just like what you would expect. So we will create a bookstore project. Right? Project has been created.
Maybe you can do a ls to show, so it's not that exciting, but it's just a classic Maven project.
Okay, classic Maven.
You see here the POM.
Cool. So this is the command line thing for the hardliners, right? But,
Exactly.
we can actually use the IDE integration that you talked about. And
So let's start with IntelliJ.
IntelliJ.
Answer. So we will import this project into IntelliJ and continue using Forge in IntelliJ. So we import our bookstore app. Okay. We can keep all the defaults. Here we go. Awesome. So we have our bookstore projects. Shall we start create a new entity?
Okay.
For instance, a book, since it's a bookstore.
So for creating entities,
Yeah.
we start Forge. You can see it below there. It says loading JBoss Forge. So you use a key combination. In this case, in my case, it's Alt Command 4, and then it starts under the hood. Starts up JBoss Forge, and then when Forge is started, this happens only once with the first combination. When Forge is started, you get all the possible commands that you can issue. So in this case, it's
A new entity book.
new entity. I can scroll through the list, but I can also start typing. I know it's a JPA thing.
Yeah, because
and
we
then
want to persist
I
it.
reduce the scope of all the things, and I create a new entity.
Okay. Oh, just one on this screen, because it's a first GPA entity that we create. Forge see that, though, we propose to set up our GPA configuration. So here we will stay on the defaults. We can use we will using Hibernate database, which stay on H2. But maybe you can just click on it to show that you here you can basically choose whatever database you want. But for demo H2 is awesome. So here we create our entity book, and that's all we need. And it creates an almost empty class for us. It's just all the stuff you see here is for GPA to process your entity. And we just have an ID. So I think we can add a field to our book, like title. So here we just say how we want our field to be called. It's a string. And here we go. It is also generate the setters and the getters for us. So, okay. Can you show me if it works in NetBeans?
There's a question there.
Oh, question. Yeah, sure.
Small question about the equals method. Is it generated by IntelliJ from the IntelliJ template, or is it generated by Forge?
It's generated by
Forge.
By Forge.
Forge.
Oh, it's great to have George here. I can proxy the questions to you.
Okay, so now I'm starting up in NetBeans to show
NetBeans.
the thing in action here. Over here, it's even simpler. You can just open the project, and it will open everything. And I have the book thing. Oh, there's something we forgot to show. Where is it? Other sources, I guess. Yeah. So there has been a few resources that have been generated by setting up JPA. Yeah, you have the persistence.xml file. Okay. I don't know if there is a source view on this. I'm not used to using NetBeans, so yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Shall we create a new entity, an
Right.
author? Because a book has an author. And we create an...
So here, it's a bit different. You have to type there, unless there is something that I'm missing, but you have to start typing there, and it starts Forge normally behind the scenes. And it can also take a while. It's kind of a drawback, I think, on this platform. Right. It takes a while for some reason. Yeah. JPA, new entity. And as you can see, we have a similar wizard that is issued, or that is coming up. Author. Okay.
Okay, and let's add a name to the author.
JPA. New field. Name. Finish. Okay.
Okay. We can move to...
Yeah. Now we're going to go to the really good tool, because that's the one that I'm working on. It's JBoss Developer Studio. Now this deserves maybe a few comments. JBoss Developer Studio is based on Eclipse, and it's actually a bunch of plugins. The plugins that are developed under the project of JBoss Tools that are packaged and integrated in Eclipse under the product name JBoss Developer Studio, right? Okay.
And
we have,
for the rest of the demo, we will stay on
yeah.
JBoss Tools.
Import an existing Maven project. This is one thing that I don't like about Eclipse. I've come to realize this using the other platforms. The import of projects is pretty hard compared to the other ones. You have to really click a lot. Okay. In the meantime, I can start Forge. It can be done in two different ways. You have an embedded Forge console here, so you can actually type within your JBoss Developer Studio environment, or you can use a key combination, which in my case is a command 4, and then this thing comes up that Forge is being started. Now you might, for people that are really have really a keen eye, they must have seen that I'm using Forge 3 beta 3 on JBDS. On IntelliJ and NetBeans it was beta 4. Right, but I assume there's not a lot of difference. It comes from an update that I did, and it automatically pulls in the latest version. Okay, so the plan was to
let's add some new fields to the book entity, like a publication date, and of course create a relation between the book and the author. So
okay. JPA, add new fields.
New field and publication date, and the type will be
date.
Java util date.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And we want an author on our
Book have
book.
authors, yeah.
you feel as well. Author, and here we can browse, we can search for author, and it should appear here. Author, here we go. And nice thing is, here you can select which relation it has. So it's a many-to-one relation, of course. And it will add the right annotation. Maybe you can show it on the author. Yeah, you see here it says add many-to-one. So we're basically done. I think that we can, our backend is done. We need a front end now to do all the CRUD operations.
So I know you are keen on very flashy mobile.
Yeah, but let's start old school.
Let's start with the old school dirty stuff, right?
Let's do some JSF stuff. So that's one really powerful feature of Forge, is the scaffolding. So basically it will parse your model, and from that, based on templates, it will generate a complete CRUD application for you. All you have to do is to choose your entities. So I think,
first the setup as well. So it will set up multiple things for you, which otherwise, you might have to go and Google, because, how do you set up CDI? How do you prepare your project to set up EJBs? How do you, all these things, which versions work together, which ones doesn't. So it's all done in this setup wizard. And then
here we can just do the select all, and the magic happens. And now maybe you can show a bit what has been generated. Okay. And then we are ready to deploy, and we should have our bookstore app.
So this scaffolding step generates quite a few things, actually. It generates backed beans, JSF backed beans, like the author bean, for instance. It has generated a lot of stuff in the web app folder, mainly for both the entities. It generates facelets, bits of HTML that make up your user interface, and it will also generate the beans XML, faces config, and web XML files for you. Okay.
Now we can deploy that. We will deploy this application on Wildfly. And so all you have to do is to drag and drop your project there. That's right. I didn't know that. You showed me that just before. That's awesome. That's where you can deploy your app. Okay. Here you can see the Wildfly console. So our app is almost deployed.
It is deployed.
It's deployed. Okay. Yeah. So we can open a browser and take a look at our awesome bookstore app. Localhost on port 8080, of course, and it's called the bookstore. And here that has been scaffolded for us. So here we can create a new author, George, of course. And
George writes books about Forge. Huh?
A book about Forge, surprising. Publication date.
Today is the 5th.
5th, yeah. Okay, and here we can select George. Oh, that was to show that we have also for free when we scaffold some validation. And here it say, hey, your format is not correct. Okay, so he will correct that. Right. And so we have the create a read list. We can edit an existing entity just to show you that we have all the CRUD functions. So for the, I don't know what you want to yeah, the 6. Awesome. Okay. Can we add some more constraints, some more validations?
Yeah.
Because publication date, 6 February, that is not possible. That is in the future. Can we do something about that?
All right. We can do this.
Okay.
We can add some constraints. And we just issue, again, the keyboard combination, Command star. I could also use this one here, right? Constraint. Or is add. Oh, no, it's not there. How is this possible? Okay.
Add a constraint, and
Okay.
it will be used. We will use Hibernate Validator for that. Okay.
This is again a setup step, right? It just will create a validation.xml file for you.
On the book, that's right. And then we say on which property, well, the publication date, and we want it to be in the past. So easy as this. We have now the constraint, and if we redeploy it again,
Yep. So redeployment
we
is
should have this,
just here, full publish.
yeah, full publish.
Now, of course, the
Oh.
drawback is that I have to recreate my, oops. Okay. I have to recreate.
Oh yeah, because we
Forge.
restarted, we are using an in-memory database, so each time that we redeploy, well, the database is destroyed.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you're in search. Yeah.
Yeah.
Publication date, so if you type the 6th of February,
6 Feb. Okay.
yeah, and you do save, you got a validation, must be in the past. So that is also handled really easily, so you can really add validation to your application without too much looking how Hibernate Validator works or stuff like that.
Right.
And it's all scaffolded for you. So we have our old school GSF app, but now we want to expose the bookstore app. We want to expose
That's
that
what I
as-
don't like about it. You have more work because you need to create REST endpoints and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I want REST endpoints, so everything can consume it. And a mobile app could consume our bookstore app, and a connected object could consume it. So do you think we can generate?
Yeah. So
That's-
we already have what, like JPA, JSF, EJB,
Let's add some JAX-RS now.
CDI, right? All these things now. JAX-RS.
Okay. So that's really a command that I love. It's a bit a magic command for me, and it's called generate endpoints from entities. That's exactly what we want. So basically, you choose your entities. First, you set up your JAX-RS, your REST setup. We can keep the defaults. You select your entities, and you click finish, and wow, it generates the endpoint for you. So for those that, I don't know if you know a bit JAX-RS, I'm going to use this one. Oh, like a teacher. So cool.
Don't hit me with it, though.
So basically, this annotation here pass, that is the REST path of our entity. And then each method, we can just annotate them like when a post request will arrive, it will go into this method, and it consumes JSON. And the get, maybe you can show the get. And the get is over there. The get, produces JSON. Maybe you can show also, we have that in JBoss, is really nice.
Yeah.
Here it doesn't make
So I have-
sense because we have just 2 endpoints, but when you have a lot of endpoints, you can browse
this
them
one.
really easily from here.
Yeah.
That are small add-ons from JBoss tools, but
So-
that are really useful.
I have, in the meantime, I have redeployed this application. I will,
Oh, you already redeployed it,
yeah.
okay.
So
Cool.
I will create a new, a few new items here again, or the one item that I always create.
At least one item, yeah.
George, save, book, no, forge in action, 0, 6 February. Save. Ah, of course.
Oh yeah. Okay, here we go, and let's find out if our REST endpoint is deployed correctly. So for that, we are also using a small tool that is in JBoss tools. That is the Web Service Tester. It's a bit like Postman, if you are used to Postman, but here it's integrated in your IDE. So basically here you will fire a GET request on our books. And as you can see, we respond. So that means our app is deployed. Everything can consume it. Now that we have that, shall we scaffold an Angular app?
Right.
Because we're cool kids.
But the problem is I don't know anything about Angular.
Yeah. With Forge, you don't need to know about it.
Fortunately, you don't, because
Forge does it for you.
I scaffolded on another web route, so I can use both on this at the same time. We'll select everything, and it will.
Yeah, maybe you can.
Yeah.
So now, if we look in the web app, in the Angular part here, we have a complete standalone web application. Now it's embedded in our Java EE project, but basically you could take this folder and run it in an OGS server, or even if you want a hybrid mobile app, you can just grab that, paste that in a Cordova app, and it's just running. So it's really standalone. And I think we can.
Yeah,
we have already redeployed it.
I've redeployed it
fast.
again, so I can.
So
I can. Now we can go to a bookstore, for instance, bookstore Ang, right? It was, and then you see that the Angular application is running in your browser. Okay.
Maybe you can create
Yep.
again another. And it's based on Angular and on Bootstrap. So it's based on Bootstrap 3, I think. And that means, of course, that it is responsive. So once Koen is done with creating
So this has a different, you can see, it has a different validation, yeah, based on the locale. So I need to use 2016 0205. Yeah. And this is also a drawback that you can actually adapt it by editing the generated class a little bit.
Yeah, we could do that because we have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, but we can.
No?
Let's do the plugin. No?
Let's
do the plugin. Let's do the plugin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Authentication, security. Well, we are working on an add-on for that. That will add Keycloak security. I don't know if you know about Keycloak. Well, Keycloak is a separate authentication server. And it's really easy to secure your app using that. It's too bad. I submitted a talk for that for DevConf, but it was not accepted. but today, tomorrow, I will be happy to show you if you want. I can give you a small demo of it. And
Yes. Yeah. So it's a one-shot generation, but of course, as simple as it is, it doesn't matter really.
yeah.
We can show again, because I showed the Angular stuff in Firefox, right? which is not so interesting. We have something really cool here in JBDS, which is called Browser Sim. Don't know if people know this. Okay. Yeah, it now opens this on this file, I guess, that I've selected, but that's not interesting. I want to, of course, use my application. Local hosts 80. bookstore. Right. This is what you see when when you use the normal
The normal, the faces.
JSF, the faces scaffolding, which is of course not very nice on a phone or on a mobile device. So that's why we did the Angular stuff. So if we do this, then you have the Angular version of it, the bookstore application, and as you would expect, you have the menu there on your phone.
The hamburger menu.
And you can just create a new order.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And you can also rotate it. Okay. And then it shows you the other version, the other way.
So it's responsive, and that's why what I told just before. You could take that and put it in a hybrid app if you want native app, for instance.
Cool. So one last thing that we can show is how you would extend the Forge by creating a Forge plugin. And a Forge plugin is nothing else than a project. So the way how you start is just by creating a new project. Hello world, right? We don't have the time for the Keycloak plugin. And then you have to select a different project type, which in this case would be a Forge add-on. Okay. We just accept all the defaults, I think. Yeah. And then it creates the Hello World project. And then to create an actual command, you use the Forge generate Forge add-on new UI command. Say hello. Command name, I don't know. Say hello. Demo. Okay, finish. And what it does, it creates a template class in which you see that there is a UI that can be initialized and an execution method that by default results in the
basically that is where you will put all your custom logic, generating files.
And of course, because we are curious as to how to put this in to work, we can do this by Forge build and install an add-on, right? And then it will behind the scenes invoke a Maven build of this project and install it. And then the next time we hit our key combination, then it will hello.
Demo.
Yeah.
Demo.
Okay. It's there. Say hello, right? And the command
Greatest
is
add-on.
executed. Now the interesting part is that if you go back to your command line, this project is in another location. Software. Workspaces. Hello world. Okay, now we're in this project. Yeah. We can do the same here, right? What is it called? Forge? No. Add-on? Build and install. And there it does the same thing, so we can just afterwards we have the say hello here available. Okay. Of course, to make this really meaningful, you would have to add UI and in the execute method, do something really useful, like creating some XML file or adding something to a POM file or that kind of stuff, right?
And you can, well, if your add-on is on GitHub, you can install an add-on by pointing to the Git account.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's time for the...
Yeah, I think we probably did everything we wanted to say.
We have a slide for the questions.
I don't know if I have it. I need to refresh this or?
Oh, just refresh. It should be there.
Refresh? Wait.
4? Oh, you can scroll.
No, it doesn't work. Is it 4? No, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Did you upload it?
Probably me, I didn't say it. But we had a nice code from
had a
hotel.
nice,
but you know it by your head. No, it's...
Yeah, it's don't judge a man by his questions, by his answers, but rather by his questions. So meaning, and it's by Voltaire. So this smart guy tells us that it's actually, you shouldn't judge me because of what I answer you on your question, but I should judge you because of what you question. All right.
So, are there any questions? Yes.
When you manipulate the project, do you have a meta model for the project? And do you manipulate the meta model or do the add-ons, do they work on text basis or how would I implement something like that?
Yeah, so they work on a text base. Of course, there is, if you do Java generation, then you have the Java method, then it's the Java add-on with its API, the roaster actually add-on with its API that you're using, which has a meta model. But there is no, for the rest, there is no specific meta model used. There's nothing proprietary or something like that that is used. So yeah, no, it's purely text-based. The only thing that is probably important, even though there is a Gradle way of doing stuff, which was contributed, but yeah, the Maven POM file projects are the most mature things to do, right?
No, I meant not the project structure. I meant like if I decide to develop a plugin that would add I don't know something to JaxRS, then I would just like to change the meta model of the JaxRS stuff, and it would be added.
No.
So you don't have that thing. Never mind. Thank you.
Okay, so we went...
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, final contribute. We're out of time? Yeah, okay. So if you have any other questions, we are hanging here today and tomorrow.
And if you want to do this hands-on, most of the things that you see today will be done tomorrow in the lab, right, George?
And this afternoon, Bruno will also give a talk about Swarm, and he will be using Forge heavily. So, with the latest add-in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, it's cool. It's good. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
I have another one, so maybe this one is, somewhere I could use it, try it on mine. Just.